is what controls the seals all the way up. Those little seals on those chakras all the way up. All right. These, when they spark, they will progressively begin the release of the seals on the chakras all the way up. So the chakras are able to blend. So you're able to, go into, well, eventually that leads to the Rachael flame body activation. So what we're going to be giving the ability to do is, now normally we would be doing this, we will be doing this with our own monad. Our monad is going to start this. But this little secret of the human race and the indigo race on this earth is the alignment to Eden. That we have our Edonic bodies, we are directly connected to the Edonic grids through that part of our body. That was our step-out point when we stepped out from the middle domains into manifestation within the outer domains. And because it's probably, I wouldn't say dire circumstances here, but we need to activate our keys really fast. We can combine the activation of the natural, what is called the Edonic, they call it the, what do they call it? The Edonic Shadi. The Shadi is the name of the middle seed atom, just like the Unisai is the name of the core level one, the Yanesa is the name of the outer one, while the Shadi is the name of the middle one. I don't know what the inner one yet is. Okay, and there's still one more. But that was a surprise. And it was really funny when I walked in down here when you guys were singing, because I hadn't thought about the Shadi song in ages. And all of a sudden, I just got this wave, and the word was in my head. And then this transmission on it. This does this, does this, does this. Write it down. That goes on the graph. There you go. Because I've been drawing these pictures all day going, okay, yeah, well, that's neat. What does it do? You know what I mean? And it all came in right before it came down. And I walked in, you guys are singing Shadi. So obviously you got the transmission too. So I was thinking, darn, I don't have that book with me. I don't have the words with me. I didn't need them. Because I knew we needed to sing the song, but you'd already been there and done that. So that was good. We'll talk more about this. I want to go for break while we still have time, I hope. We still have time to run? Yeah? Okay. So we can be here for when it's 12:12 in case it actually comes in on time. But I just want to point out these areas that correspond to the natural monadic level of the Edonic seed atom. These areas are the clitoris is a spark point, and it's the same point on the base of the penis. The vagina is spark point. And the right behind the scrotum is another one. These points, this is the diamond door point on both of them, the center point, and on the female, it's the, I think they call it the perineum, and perineum, and it's the prostrate on the male, and the anus is the spark point, the inner spark point for these, and these two come together and spark at not the anus, but the coccyx. And these control the cranial sacral seals and the grual seals. So this is the big secret of human biology. What's been done with that in order to harness it has not been very nice. We'll talk about that when we get back. We'll talk about what happens naturally when, let's say we didn't get mutated on this planet and boys and girls were getting together and doing their thing, or girls and boys, whatever. What actually happens with these? And it has to do with 6 spark sets, because if you notice, there are 6 places where sparking occurs. And if we remember anything from yesterday at all about tachyon cycles and 6 spark sets being one harmonic key is made out of 1 set of negative charge 6 sparks and 1 set of 6 positive charge 6 can't talk, I'm tired. Positive charge sparks. And when you put them together, they do a quantum resolution, and you end up with kasha keys and crystal keys. And when you put them together, they eventually cycle and become tachyons. And then when tachyons fully activate, you disappear to go into source or Eden. We can go back to our Eden faster if we activate this. And there's certain currents that are needed from the Eden levels in order for us to do this. So this is the gift that is going to be given tonight. They're going to allow us, if we want to. See, we're having our Azure activated anyways, activating because the indigo shields is at this point, our monadic level is activating it. Because if we've been doing the tachyon cycle activations, it's going on autopilot. It will rebirth. But because we're at the point in time that is occurring, And you can't do it after, they're saying. It has to be when the first 12 are happening, and that's now, when the monad is activating. They can activate the first 12s together and allow them to link. And what will it will give us the ability to go visit those places in the sky a lot faster, I have a feeling. But not just that. It will give us the ability to go back into the middle domains, and maybe cross through them to get to Earth. I'm not sure what they have in mind with that. But either go in and stay. And I'm picturing couples being together and generating keys and making love and finally going, yes, and disappearing and popping up in this beautiful garden under some beautiful tree, and there's no bugs there, and it's perfect temperature. And it's like, you know, I think things like that are probably going to become possible, actually. But it's not just for having sex with. All right. There's other things you can do with this, and there's other things that for people who do like to have sex, there are ways to use it for yourself, where you know what to do with that energy. Because right now it happens. I'll tell you this right before we go. When we orgasm, the human body makes keys. Now, right now, the natural seed atom that we would have there is mutated. The diamond door to the hedonic seed atom is twisted with a Metatronic seed atom configuration there, which has been controlling the Rushite spiral and keeping all the seals locked and keeping the mutation held within the body. What the mutation has allowed was for sparks to occur and sparks to build up. See what happens here? Or sparks occur during stimulation, right? Or sometimes just mental stimulation, thinking about it. Sparks occur. When sparks occur, they make the light balls phase, right? And then the sparks occur because the light balls phase. Stimulation will make the light balls phase, and that will make sparks occur. The sparks then travel in, and they get stored in the area of the seed that would be called the Jaffa. Just like, they'll spark into the Jaffa, and then they go closer into the Adama, where the diamond door is. So we have a diamond door up there. Now, we've been able to spark, but only the outer four could spark, and they would collect to a certain point in these areas, the central area of the body. They would collect the spark quantums that were generated, and then they just have to go, and that's that big orgasm that just like kind of flies all over the place. And what it does is it just blows itself right out your chakras and out into your auric field. And what happens with those kind of sparks is they form mutated chelons that don't have the right quantum differential, so they can't go on to the next phase of harmonic key activation. They cannot become tachyons. So all they can become are quantum sparks. So when you build those sparks, you can feel them run, and you just like when you orgasm, you blow them out into the auric field. That is what we've been knowing as orgasm on this planet for a long time. We'll talk about a little bit when we get back what they did with that. Because it's not just us that has this problem, humans. Everything that has sex on this planet has this problem, where sex is about making chelons. It's about making sparks. It's about regenerating life. It's about creating life and regenerating life and sharing life. And when that energy is mutated and turned into a different form, it doesn't change the fact that it's energy that can be used for something. And it was. So we'll talk about that when we get back, and let's take a break so there's still time before. We need. Do you have a copy of the Shadi song? Okay, they said they want us to do a 3-rounder of it to start the activation in the shields. It's already starting, by the way. I felt it when we were sitting up there at like 5 of 12. Whatever it is, it's starting, and it's strong. So if I start to trip over my words, it's because I'm trying to stabilize this frequency that's coming up. If you get anything, what we've noticed so far was, as soon as we left the room, it was like the tailbone turned to cement kind of feeling, and like back spasm, just kind of like walk into the elevator like this, right? You figured out, one of those again, because sometimes they'll last for a while, after we were here. That shifted as soon as I sat down, and all of a sudden it felt like ice water running up the middle of my legs, like where your bone marrow is supposed to be. Felt like ice water, and I was freezing. And then, thank you, then I felt all right, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this wave of something just came, and it felt like my eyeballs puffed out of my eyes. They felt like they swelled to be this big, and it was hers. Oh, and I thought I was going to pass out, and I did. I was like, uh-oh. And I had to like push on my eyes just to try to stabilize the energy. Then it sounded like crickets in my head. You know that? You know that sound in certain places that have a lot of trees in the summer or the spring where they go, right? And that is a sound I have heard right before going into astral projection, actually. When you're making the consciousness transition, there's this particular sound. You also might hear it if you catch yourself before you pass out, like if you're going to white out or something. You know, if you stood up too quick and didn't eat enough that day, that kind of thing. There's a particular sound that when the consciousness is transitioning out to the another level that you might hear. And I got those effects just sitting up there, and that's why I sat there a little bit longer, because I was like, can I walk? I feel all right now, but if you get any, like, I'm okay. I'm not sharing what I just did because there's anything wrong with me. I'm sharing it with you because we realized the activation is starting. I just got the back thing at the same time that I did as soon as we walked out the door. So if you get any of this, realize it isn't the Shadi Edonic seed atom activating yet. That will be later. That they will offer that as an opportunity to kind of like plug into those frequencies. This is the natural monadic rebirth cycle. This is the height of the meiotic keys hitting. They're probably going tachyon now or something. We're getting ready for the monadic rebirth. Yeah, so if I stutter a little bit, it's because sometimes the brain and the mouth, when the activations are coming through, do very different things. You kind of sit in your head and go, not exactly what I wanted my mouth to do. So anyway, I thought I'd let you know, give you a status check. We'll talk more about the graphs after, but since the activations actually appear to be running on time for once, we have these 12-12 activations at like 3 a.m. Maybe it's just in Phoenix that happens. I don't know. All right. But this is interesting. They've asked us to do a couple of things as a preliminary to get the activations in the shields going to be able to balance the energies of the monadic rebirth activation coming through. And one of the things they want us to start, I'll show you what we're going to be doing. It's going as we go. We've already caught the wave, and it's actually coming in. It is on 12-12. We're going to do a series of things. The first one is, once we start, they want us to start it with a series of the 3 rounds of the Shadi song. And I think it's a riot that you guys picked up on that while I was getting the transmission. It was right before I walked out the door to come down here that they even mentioned the word Shadi. And all of a sudden, I had this song in my head and going, oh, gosh, I haven't heard that in ages. I haven't thought about it in ages. And that's when they said, by the way, this is that. Write that on the graph, right? And that's when they told me the whole thing about what these graphs were that I just drew. And they said, here, and put a picture of that on there and stick that on the graph. And that's why it was a little bit later than I intended to be. But it's interesting that you guys are catching it, catching the wave as well, without us here to translate it for you. So that was really good because you started the shield activations. The Shadi song is keyed to a place called Shadi that they didn't tell us a lot about. We knew it was connected with the Ashalam Passage and a whole bunch of other things. It was brought in that was part of the songs that were brought in Morocco. And it's directly connected, now we know, to the Edonic seed atom, which is called the Shadi. So the song, we'll start with that. After we finish the 3 rounds of that, is this the next one? I think, yeah. We're going to do these. Now, these we've used, I believe, in the first set of activations. We used these first. I don't think we didn't use these in Shasta. We're going to be doing these. So people who don't know what these, whoops, can you just show them the other one for a minute? Thank you. All right. Now, you don't have to know the top ones. That's just convenient to have it there for people who haven't seen this before and haven't done this activation. It is showing you, these are the Jaleesic layers, right, the 9 inner Jaleesic layers, and they're official tonal names, right? And there's a sequence of using those names to call them into activation in the shields. And we're going to be using these after we sing the 3 rounds of the song. So we'll put them up so you can see what they are. We still don't have a song for these yet, so they're used just as a command, as a statement. And we're going to use those. And we're going to follow this down. Then the next one set we're going to do are let me see. Which one is this? Is that one we're doing next?
Well, you just pick up here with the focus.
Yeah.
Right? And go into step 19.
Okay. You're going to read that too, right? Okay. Good. Yeah. What we're doing is doing a request for opening the diamond door again, but keyed toward the Edonic passage this time. Yeah. And after we get through with these, then, there's also the, what other? There's the command thing, and there's the Christolite core command, the be still, be now as one with God thing. Then they're going to go into live, where we find out what we do then. Right? So that is interesting. Great. A lot of energy building. We got company. Oh, hello. Yeah, which I keep getting 1 and 2 confused. I think I'm half out of body. I'm feeling very vague. Okay. Yeah, we'll do the diamond door. Where does this one go? Oh, wait a minute. Where did this go?
That's the last page. There's one page missing.
Okay, we do this first. She's got 1 page. Because we didn't have the whole sequence of them. Because they just said to do this. Wait.
The sequence is step 17C, then step 18 continued, which Mel's got.
Okay, see, we don't have to look at. We don't have to do this part. We don't have to do this part down here. All we have to do are the tones that go with this sheet, right? And then.
Put that one back so she can see it now.
Okay, yeah, this is the
She's
one
trying to
right
see
here.
something that isn't on the page.
Yeah.
See.
Why do we have 2 of the same one?
What?
We got 2 of the same one. We're missing a page.
Well, it isn't necessary to put it on the other end anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going to read that one. Okay. I'm just trying to see which we're doing next. This, then the reading, and then this one?
This.
Pardon us while we sort this out. They just told us we were doing this when we were up there. I'm glad I had them. So we're, yeah. What's this bit?
Page 1, page 2.
See, we're not doing this stuff. Or, yeah, we are doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the second thing we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't have a Mylar of this?
Well, if there isn't one on the table, we don't have one. But we don't need one.
Oh, yeah, that's this one. Wait a minute. Okay, so this is number 2. There we go. Sorted that out. Well, it helps for them to have the words there.
They'll probably have their eyes closed.
Okay. 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 Uh-oh, here come the heats. Had the colds before. It's got a burst of heat. Hey, you guys that were singing up here before, would you like to come and run these 3 rounds of room shouting? Because my voice is not doing really well these days.
Yeah. And whoever else would like to come.
Sure.
Come on, Mel, you got a bit too.
Here you go.
Sadie, lift the words up when we get to it. Good, yeah, thanks. How fast do you want it, Ash? Tell us how fast you want it. There, listen, so you can go.
I'll sit in and just kind of, I'll do my thing with it as it comes through and just try to.
If we need to go faster or anything, you tell us. Ash is going to do her thing with it. Come on.
Yeah, if I pick it up, just kind of follow me. If I disappear, just keep going.
Okay.
Right? Well, I don't mean literally.
That's like,
There are places you can go where the dreams you one day know are free. Starlit beaches in the night, heavens meet in silent harmony. Our communion is soon to come, our union that's just begun, and one day soon you'll find we're together in a place called Shadi, an eternal radiant state of mind. Shadi. Not far from here, a step in time. From the place on heaven's shore, we stand before the shrouded door and think of you. Just across the veiled plain, the starborn dancing manna rain, they laugh and smile. But the cloak you wear reflects the light and leads you in an endless night. And one day soon you'll find you're free and living in a place called Shadi, an eternal radiance between the veils of time. The ever-radiant soul flame of the state of Shadi is not far from here, a step in mine. Not far from here, a step in time. Not far from here, a step in time. There are places you can go
Keep it a little
where
bit
the
mellow.
dreams
Stretch it
you'll
this
one
one.
day know are free.
Free. Starlit beaches in the night, heavens meet in silent harmony. Our communion is soon to come, a reunion that's just begun. And one day soon you'll find that we're together in a place called Shadi, an eternal radiant state of mind. Will you meet us in this place called Shadi? Not far from here, a step in time. From our place on heaven's shore, we stand before the shrouded door and think of you. Just across the veiled plain, the starborn dance and manna rain, they laugh and smile. But the cloak you wear reflects the light and leaves you in an endless night. Yet one day soon you'll find you are free and living in a place called Shadi, an eternal place between the veils of time. The ever-radiant soul flame of the state of Shadi is not far from here, a step in mine. Is not far from here, a step in time. It's not far from here, a step in time. Not far from here, a step in time. Now we'll whisper this one. There are places you can go where the dreams you one day know are free. Starlit beaches in the night, heavens meet in silent harmony. Our communion is soon to come, a reunion that's just begun. And one day soon you'll find we're free and living in a place called Shadi. Whoops. An eternal radiant state of mind. Will you meet us in this place called Shadi? Not far from here, a step in time. From our place on heaven's shore, we stand before the shrouded door and think of you. Just across the veiled plain, the stars were dancing man arrayed. They laugh and smile, but the cloak you wear reflects the light and leaves you in an endless night. Yet one day soon you'll find you are free and living in a place called Shadi, an eternal place between the veils of time. The ever-radiant soul flame of the state of Shadi is not far from here, a step in mine. It's not far from here, a step in time. It's not far from here, a step in time. Not far from here, a step in time. Yes. Something else. There's something else we need. Yes, Aurora. Do we have it in print? Okay. We're going to also add the Aurora song with this. We wanted the Aurora song, but if we don't have it, we won't do it. We'll do one. Oh, you have it up there already? Okay. You don't have it in paper? Great. Thank you. You guys can probably do this better than me because I haven't done it since we did it up there. Okay. No, hold it for you. Somebody else lead another one.
Okay. You ready?
I haven't done this.
Be tu etetaete, janate uetae. Be tu etetaete, ishanu edashale, ishmata elente durete, disala ente shedure. Shanu en le taluja en de utalehi, mita blende sunuake.
Please keep doing that, and they're going to bring some tones through to go with it, okay? So if you guys would keep doing that, and they're going to bring some, I think maybe the overtones in. Okay.
Vitu etetaete, janate uetae. Vitu etetaete, ishanu endashale, ishmata Eta urkale, kale dina binare, kale dostane, kale ita esa noredane teode. One more time.
Biti janoreti, biti janoe, biti janoeti, biti yundae, biti yundae, biti yundae, biti ayata epaneta ushala, shala de, shala kanaseti inda muntajoe. Excellent, thank you. On to the next bit. Okay, oh, colds again. Now, the mental command bit. Could you please hold this for a minute while I chatter? Okay, yeah. You want to lead this one?
What?
You want to lead this one, please? Just go through to do that. Because I'm spacing out.
Okay, I just want to maintain the momentum, so we'll just move right along with what we've been asked to do. So, mentally, that's to say silently, repeat the following sequence 3 times, and we'll just go straight to it. Inaka, Maja, Ta'ur, Iyuka, Kitha. Jada, Ida, Ta'ur, Iyuka, Itha. Jaffa, Edama, Neda'o, Ita'una, Atma. Inaka, Maja, Ta'ur, Iyuka, Kitha. Jada, Ida, Ta'or, Iyuka, Etha. Jaffa, Edama, Nada'o, Ita'una, Atma. Inaka, Maja, Ta'or, Iyuka, Ketha. Jada, Ida, Ta'or, Iyuka, Etha. Jaffa, Edama, Nada'o, Ita'una, Atma. Now 3 times out loud, together, everyone. Ready? Inaka, Maja, Ta'or, Iyuka, Ketha. Jada, Ida, Ta'or, Iyuka, Etha. Jaffa, Edama, Nada'o, Ita'una, Atma. Inaka, Maja, Ta'or, Iyuka, Ketha. Jada, Ida, Ta'or, Iyuka, Etha. Jaffa, Edama, Nada'o, Ita'una, Atma. Inaka, Maja, Ta'or, Iyuka, Ketha. Jada, Ida, Ta'or, Iyuka, Etha. Jaffa, Edama, Nada'o, Ita'una, Atma. And 3 times the closing sequence, out loud, together. Iyuka, Ita'una, Adama, Nada'o. Iyuka, Ita'una, Adama, Nada'o. Iyuka, Ita'una, Edama, Nada'o. And now just close your eyes momentarily. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
and observe or intend that the 3-inch silver sphere Tauran control capsule and the diamond or crystal.
You have to lead the new people in. They've probably never seen that before. Just with the wording. Yeah, it's not hard to start with.
Oh, because this is just an element of what we've done
A.
before.
Just change that to A.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, because it's hard to follow.
ready. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Alrighty, we'll just rephrase that for the benefit of people who are not quite so familiar with this. So, begin by observing or intending that there is a 3-inch silver sphere Tauran control capsule, and that the diamond door at its center merges within the center of the parter key on your inner viewing screen. And just take a few seconds just to feel comfortable with that image. And within this Tauran control capsule vehicle, a small replica of your physical self as you are present in the room at the moment, your mini-me, has in fact approached the diamond door to the first creation point within the parter key in the center of the Tauran light seed. Now just breathe gently and naturally. Reduce your breathing rate just a little bit if you can. And direct your mental attention to the image of your 3-inch silver sphere Tauran control capsule, which is merged with a tiny diamond or crystal within the image of the parter key on your inner viewing screen. With your mental focus or your mental intention firmly fixed on this point of focus, we will repeat the following 3 affirmations of access and the request for diamond passage, through which you are calling upon the power of your personal first eternal core self-encryption to harmonize and clear your present time encryption to gain passage to the impeccable first creation core domains that exist within the diamond door crystal at the first creation point. And we'd like you to say this collectively out loud. So the first affirmation, I'll break it down so we can repeat it together. I return now to innocence.
I return now to innocence.
Purity and eternal perfection.
Purity and eternal perfection.
Of the core self that I am. The second affirmation of access. I return now in innocent longing.
I return now in innocent longing.
To the one core point of eternal love.
To the one core point of eternal love.
The third affirmation of access. I release now all worries or fears of the outer worlds.
I release now all worries or fears of the outer worlds.
I release now all condemnations,
I release now all condemnations,
angers, pain or sadness,
pain or sadness,
and I return now through the window of innocent longing to embrace the truth of my eternal perfection in being, as it lives always within the heart song of God's source. And we continue with the request for diamond passage, which we will do in the same way. May I enter now the eternal place. The first core home from which I come. The ethereal sanctuary of my pristine Christic heart. May I pass the diamond doorway. to the gold and silver sun. Ezasu. Ita jeshu. Unesa ta. O et eva. O eta hane. Hane. O et ru shave. El etra nive. Ot zu tuda. And continue with your eyes closed and breathing gently, and try to notice or intend that you're aware of, upon completing the mental request for diamond door passage, that the merged 3-inch silver sphere Tauran control capsule and the diamond door crystal within the center of the party key on your inner viewing screen have now automatically equalized size to each other, where they now appear as a singular 2-inch pale silver crystal sphere within which your mini-me, the little version of yourself present in the room, where your mini-me facsimile rides. Now continue to breathe gently in a relaxed way and call the tremendous healing power of the Tauran light seed into your manifest consciousness and body. We will amplify this by your intention by mentally repeating 3 times the following Crystale core command affirmation, which is to set the Sadi Seta healing flows in motion in the Tauran living light seed. And this was originally used to begin activation of the 1728 Edon keys. Pardon? Of the Tauran, yes. So we will do this out loud once more. So the first of these personal and collective summonses is as follows. Be still. Be now as one with God. Be joy. Be now as one with God. Be love. Be now as one with God. Be peace. Be now as one with God. Be whole. Be now as one with God. And finally, be free. Be now as one with God. And just spend a few moments listening quietly for the still small voice within as it replies, I am this now. I am. Now please inhale deeply, using the inhale breath to contract a basketball-size pale silver crystal sphere. Deep inner space, Sadi Seta core domain, into a single tiny sphere of silken, pale silver pink sapphire liquid light at the pineal gland. So a long, slow, deep inhale, contracting a basketball-sized pale silver crystal sphere into a single tiny sphere of silken, pale silver pink sapphire liquid light at the pineal gland. This is your Sadi sphere, the co-creation cockpit from which the planes of manifest creation fly. Hold this inhale just a little longer at the pineal, and then gently exhale, using the breath to push the Sadi sphere downward and into the actual Shadi, deep within the Edonic core. And when you've done that, just breathe at a gentle, relaxed, natural rhythm and open your eyes, returning your conscious focus into the room. From this point forward, you can instantly access the Edonic Shadi Partiki control center and enter the Sadi Seta Shadi state in one inhale-exhale breath. You would simply inhale and use the inhale breath to draw the Sadi sphere upward from the Edonic core to the pineal, and then exhale, using the exhale breath to expand the basketball-sized pale silver crystal sphere doorway, Sadi, Seta, Shadi domain, outward from the pineal. And then you would focus your attention into your inner eternal eyes of Rashale.
Thank you. Okay. Now, we're in the process of finishing the key activation cycles in relation to the monad of the outer layers, the outer domains of creation. And at this time, we are also invited to amplify the ability of key production, and also for the purpose of generating a very strong protection field within your own biofield by linking the monad level of your Taran, your living light seed, and at the monad level with the monad of the Edonic seed that is positioned with its center point in, let's call it the sacred spot that we showed you in the diagrams, which is the perineum in females and the prostrate area in males. Now, we're going to move through a series of breathing exercises that will combine the things we already know of the breath, as far as the arcs moving and the pillar going up and down. But we will do something new this time. If you can remember, it might actually help if we put up a graph, that one of the last ones that showed the girl with many balls. Yes. Girls have balls too. Is that the one with the monad on it? Let's see. And the other one, please. Yes. Okay. What we are going to do with the breathing technique is, if we remember, oh yeah, okay. If we remember, we have these ruche or monad configuration. Here, it is like a disc that runs through, that is in about a ½ inch from the skin of the private parts. So you have this, it's actually a sphere of energy, but a disc runs through the center of that sphere. So if you try to get in touch with the fact that you have this disc that is connected to your first chakra, and it is about 1 inch deep up in the skin from your private parts. What we will do in the breathing exercises that are to come, they are energy running exercises, they are Rushate exercises. We are going to begin the process of creating sparks. There's a few things we have to do here first to free this area from the hold of the metatonic demon seed configuration. And once we do those, we will be able to begin the phasing of the natural monad that is part of the Shadi seed atom of the Edonic middle levels. Now, these seed atoms, there's much to tell as far as the technicals that go with understanding this seed atom, but it is the point of emergence into the outer domains from the inner, and it is something that you carry with you from your first point of doing that, which might not have been on Earth. It might have been somewhere else in this, this galaxy, this universe, or another. But it is the point that once you have emerged out into the outer domains from the middle, you will have with you in your shield, regardless of what form you incarnated into, a seed atom from the place behind you. And it will be located, depending on the type of body form you have, in different regions. In the human body form and in the azurite body form. And I'm talking azurite, not just indigo, because there's a broader category there. It is located in this region. And it is a seed atom just in the same way that the seed atom that you have that it grows from your taurine and your azure, it is located in, it will be located in the azure when you make the transition of particle spin into the hedonic domains when that time comes. In activation of this, you begin the process of being able to activate the entire structure of the hedonic light body, which is the middle domain light body, which means you will be able to have freedom at some point to be able to pass from the outer worlds and into the middle domains. And you will still do Rashale flame activation and things that we've talked about before, but this will expedite that ability. It will take you through what is called the Shadi passage, and that is the birth canal between the middle and the outer domains. So it is like going back, you could say going back into the uterus if you were a baby being born, but you're going back because you decide you liked it better on the other side. Well, kind of like that, but it won't look like a uterus. It'll look like a brilliant glowing passage of pale blue and green light when you do pass through that. But that won't be today. It takes a while for these things for the light body to activate. When you are going through a series of activations that are the outside light body and its structures, and also the next level in, there's a co-resonant communication that begins to take place with the middle light body and the outer light body. And it accelerates the ability of the outer light body to generate keys and to activate its flame body potentials. It is a good time for these technologies to be brought back to this planet. It will also assist you in creating protection in many, many ways. Once you begin the activation of the Shadi seed atom, it will begin its spark generation cycles, and every time you breathe, the sets of 3, because if you notice there are 4 sets of 3 light cells, they will phase, the outer 2 will phase, and they will spark, and so will these, and these, and they will create a set first of 4 sparks as they generally go, like before it accelerates. Those sparks will be drawn in, and they will be stored within a very special little storage center that is at the center here of this the Shadi seed atom. It is a point that is not, it has not been identified yet in the Jalizic state diagrams yet. It is a layer of the Jaffa, actually, but it's a layer of the Jaffa, like a sublayer, that hasn't been identified yet. But let's just look at it as a little storage area for sparks that will eventually become keys, and later it is a storage area for keys before they become activated. So what we're going to do is begin the process of manually phasing them, which will set them back out of, they'll take them out of their stasis and back into their natural rhythms. Once we do that, we will be able to synchronize. There'll be a point in the meditation that we will do in order to do this. We will do this first and begin the process of having the Shadi phase. And at a certain point, I will say, it is time now. It will be the point of time when the keys, the tachyon cycle has finished, for the myad has gone in and has birthing out the monad on the level of the outer body. So there will be a point when that occurs where we will link the slowly phasing Shadi to the monad, the rebirthed monad. And then there are certain things we can do where we get them in synchronization. And at that point, you will be able to generate what is called an hedonic field. An hedonic field has to do with a certain state of matter that is called the hedon state. It has to do with the hedon units and the type of Jalizic matter sparks that they create. Hedonic matter is, let us say, much stronger and purer than outer worlds matter. And you can walk in the outer worlds with hedonic matter in your fields and running in your body. And there were numerous races that did this at different times in order to assist other races here in their bioregenesis at different times. there will be a time at some point for some of you where the gift of, you don't have to do this, by the way. You can just, you can have your outer monad do its rebirth as it is doing now and leave it at that. But this is a point in time where we can catch this, the two together. Once the monads activate, you can't go backward and do this particular one again. All right. So it's a small group of people here compared to how many people are in the world or who might like to do this. And you just decided to show up in Denver, and this is good. There are things you can do to do subharmonic after that, but a full harmonic link is only can be done when the monad on the outer is being rebirthed. So what this link will do is give you an ability to not only run the aurora lights, which many people will be able to learn how to do, but it is an entrustment of being able to carry with you a field that is strong enough to bring others through with you, through gates. It is a commission that is usually extended only, under most circumstances, to races or beings, groups of beings that are going to assist groups of people physically to go out gates. It was kind of interesting to see who show up at the Denver workshop. Why did you show up at this one? Very interesting contracts you must have. Because there are as many people, if we had announced that these activations were being done, we probably would have had 3 times as many people here. But we didn't even tell ANA. There will be another 2 points in the Starfire cycle where a similar, not the same one, but a similar type of link can be made, an hedonic link. And one is an adonic link, which only certain people can even hold because it's one step in further than the hedonic link. It allows the body to love your planet. You know how you can bond with your planet and, you know, where you go and lay on the earth and love the earth and you can really feel the consciousness of the earth? Well, the Eartha is like that too, and you can feel Eartha through Earth because Eartha is the host that Earth is sitting within. You will have the ability to bond with the elemental kingdoms of Eartha, which will help the healing of your own bodies in an expedited way, in a way that will allow you to be able to go through hedonic gates with the body that you have at some point in the future. Don't know how far in the future, but you will be not everyone will be able to take the body with them, particularly because the cycle keeps getting accelerated. With the activation that can take place tonight, you will be able to do that. Doesn't mean you necessarily have to, but you will be able to when the time comes. Because that is a rare and strange gift to have in the world that you are in. With the gift, there's a request, or a suggestion, but it is a request, but one can deny it, that if you do have the ability and you find that, yes, it is something you want to do, realize that with that gift, you can bring others with you. So there would be others that would actually be guided to you for various reasons that not now, not yet, but later, once you learn certain things and what to do with people once they realize you are a bus or a plane or a train. There are certain things you would need to teach them people before you could get them through a gate physically. But there are physical away teams that move back and forth between the Edan domains and the outer domains. And this planet has not seen a group of them in many, many thousands of years. You're being invited, if you should want to choose, to be a part of such a team. And it is a gift that is given in freedom. You may never ever want to take anybody through a gate again. You may never even want to go yourself. You don't have to use it. But once it's yours, you will have the ability to help others through. And that can be very special in certain times, times that may come in the future that you will see on this planet. So we will begin with preparing the Shadi and the Umshadi passage, which is this inner sphere. And then in the center, way in the center, is where, and about an inch and a half up in the center, as if you would if you could stick your finger up in there where you don't have the hole there, you would find you actually do. You have an etheric orifice there. You can call it your interdimensional office. You don't have to call it an orifice, you can call it an office. Yeah. Office of the Christ. Yes. We are going to activate this area, and we're going to begin the sparking process. Now, as far as sacred sex goes, by the way, once you can do this, and you can also teach others to do this, there are others that can begin activating this, but they won't get the synchronization with the monad in the same way. They can still generate keys, they can still activate it to accelerate process, but to link it when the monad is rebirthing does something special. It gives a phase link where they move as one instead of at different rhythms, which means you will rapidly pick up the Edonic base pulse rhythm in your bodies, where it would take other people more time to do that. If somebody does this later, they will still be able to do some of the things that you will be able to do with this, but it will take longer. And what this will also do is synchronize your own natural key production cycles of your Taran and your own Azure seed atom and all of the pieces there. It will synchronize them with the Edonic rhythm, and it means it will make them go faster. So you will be able to be Rachele ready more quickly than you would otherwise be. Now, what we're simply going to do is begin phasing of the octaves, it is called. These are the octave balls out here, light cells, and the inner four are the harmonics. The harmonic balls we will phase later, and that has to do with what we'll do once the monad is ready. And the monad will fire in the indigo shield. It will fire in the group shield, and at that point everybody's biology will pick it up at its own pace, at their own pace. But as soon as it fires in the indigo shield, we can run this and do the synchronization, and then your own body rhythms will adjust the two into what's natural for you. All right? So again, you don't have to participate. If you would like to begin to activate it but not link it to the monad, you can do the first part of the exercise but not link. When we do say we're going to link and synchronize with the monad now, just let it go there. So if you're new to the work, if you don't feel right about it, you don't have to do any of those things. If you don't want to do any of it all, you just simply say, I intend that I will not be affected by these activations, and the activations themselves are conscious energy, and they will respect your wishes in your free will universe. So you are safe to stay in the room if you don't want to do them, but we're going to get on with them. We will activate these by the end of the evening, or morning it will be. Yes, it is already, I believe. We will phase together these and the newly birthed monad here. We'll phase them together and get them to create their first spark set. And when a spark set happens, you get little spark sets coming here in the octaves, and they will collect in the office. We'll call it the nada there, because it's where the nada or diamond door is for the Edonic seed atom. So in the nada, we will collect the sparks. When the nada gets a certain amount of sparks in there, it begins to vibrate and assemble the sparks into chelons, but of Edonic matter, Edonic chelons. There will be a point where the chelons assemble and they will fill out. These are spheres. This is a sphere of energy that if you look down between your legs, and if you could see it, you would see half of it sticking out from down below, and half the other part would be up inside of you. These are all actually spheres that are running through your body. Once the nada reaches its flash point, at that point, these inner four will be able to move. And at that point, you will get the 6-point phase that was on the other diagram. Can we see the other diagram, please? So there will be some breaths we use for the octaves, and they will make the monadic link, and then we will be able to do several breaths that allow for the 6-point sparks to generate. The 6-point sparks are what collect, again, in the nada. They connect, and they collect in there, and they will, once enough of them collect, form harmonic keys. Now, it is interesting that there are things you can do with this yourself. If you are in an ire-dominant body, if you are in a ire-dominant body, you will be creating ire bass tone sparks, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be female, because there are some female beings in male bodies and male beings in female bodies. The gender is the ire, the mane, or the manu. So if you are one who runs much ire, whether you are male or female, you will make the bass tone keys. The bass tone key makers make keys that do not have as much quantum, but what those keys do are take on the jewels. So they are the jewel keepers in the process of harmonic key manufacture and storage. And most times on this planet, it is the female body, but not all. So I don't want you to think that just that you will be holding the kasha keys because you're male. It is the general pattern. Most times it will be the male that will hold the quantum differential keys that are the kasha keys that we have talked about before. And the female body will manufacture and collect the bass tone keys. But before we have kasha keys and crystal keys, the first thing that will happen is the female body will collect its bass tone keys, and they are still just bass tone keys. They're based on sparks. Male bodies, in general, will collect their overtone sparks. These sparks will collect and build up, let's say, fairy moons of fairies gazing at moons in the moonlight and seeking love. They will generate a charge, let's say, a building charge. They will build over a while, some more quickly than others. That charge there's numbers of things you can do with that charge. There is a very sacred act that can be shared with two people. And it doesn't always have to be just a male and a female. It can be someone who is running energy as an androgynous, which they can go either. It can be two androgynes. There's a lot of combinations you can get, and it really depends on just how you're running frequency. Now, the idea is, in general, when you have a set of keys manufactured, or partial keys, overtones stored in one body's nada and bass tones in the other body's nada, there will be a natural charge in the field that draws and progressively builds as more of the sparks and keys form. And there will be a time, and there was a time when this was all done consciously and with great ceremony, with great preparation, with everything from bathing ritual to what type of food to eat, to it was taken very seriously and honored, because it was realized that when a couple came together, they came together as three, each other if there were two, and God's source. And it was honored as that. They knew that every time they made love with God's source. And there's a level that of experience that can be reached when that is understood. And when you are working with keys consciously, that can take you to completely different levels of experience, where what is called sex here becomes something that it actually always has been, and that has been forgotten here, which is a sacred union and reunion with Source. Now, when a body, the way it is in this world right now, the way the bodies have been behaving, because of distortions in the structure of the Rushai here, because of the distortions that have been there, the body can